feel no shame. Oftentimes we're so heavily influenced by our environment, by our surroundings, that we feel a lot of pressure of who we want to become. But the pressure can be so heavy sometimes that we feel that we're often being pushed and guided into an existence who we feel that we're only doing something because of the pressure of the influence of our environment is pushing us into. And it's just super important to understand that everything in our life is designed to be, unless we come back into the realization of who we truly need to become, and why we need to become that essence of being. Because if we just go in life, if we just are guided by the surroundings or the environment which we're currently in, we may live a life of existence without being the existence who we truly understand and know to be our true self. And it's a great question to ask in this now moment is, are we living an existence of almost pressure from our surroundings? Is our surroundings, is our environment, is our current now moment the resemblance of a construct that we have been programmed to become? And if it is, it's not negative. It's just the construct or the existence of a predestined reality, and we are just the observer of that existence. What's important to understand is that there is no such thing as negativity. It's everything just is, and depending on our perception of an existence is where we can start to manifest frequencies such as negative or love, positivity, joy. So it's truly up to us to understand that it does not matter what our existence is in this moment. What does matter is our perception of the existence. And that's where we can start to change this predestined formula of life, is because it doesn't matter where we are in this moment. What does matter is our perception of it. And that's where we lose our power. That is where we are often silenced, is because somebody tells us our perception of our existence. And if we believe it, we can ultimately we lose our power to external forces. And that's ultimately the true essence of taking back our own power, is to acknowledge that it doesn't matter where we are, what we're doing. All that matters is how we perceive our own existence. Because we could be in the shit. We could be really, really in the shit. But as long as we can look within ourselves and find the clarity, be the alchemist within ourselves, we could ultimately say, you know what, our existence is pretty shit right now, but at least I have myself. At least I'm now in control of myself. At least I have the power to see the bigger picture, and I'm going to do the very best I can to start to shift my existence, start to shift my predestined fortune into a continuous state of clarity. So no matter what comes into my life, I have the power to be able to see things from the different perspective. I have the power to stay true to myself within the acknowledgement that no matter how shit things are going to get, I'm still going to have the power of my own perception of my own existence. And I'm going to do my very best to stop allowing people to send their perception, their ideas, unless I accept them for what if they're trying to serve me or if they're trying to take away from me. But that is the magic of being able to take back our power, is to stop letting people influence our existence of our own perception. Because when we do that, when we can truly start to acknowledge the power of oneself, we understand that it doesn't matter what we're doing in life. It doesn't matter where we are. And ultimately, it doesn't matter what we do, as long as we can come in alignment with the true essence of ourselves. We understand that our environment, our surroundings, is just trying to teach us something. It's trying to teach us to become the observer within this lifetime, not just become the experience, is to become the observer of the experience. Because when we can step back and become the observer, we ultimately are able to see things from a different perspective. We're able to release ourselves from the experience, and we ultimately become the observer within this lifetime. And that's the trick to stop being so manipulated, is because if you're only experiencing the manipulation, if you're only experiencing the pain, it can be kind of like trapping. You can feel just trapped. You can feel just, in that box, and you feel like you can't gain control. You feel like you can't escape from it. You feel like you're literally just going to be a life experience of pain and suffering. But that's the trick, is we need to escape from the box. And that's who we all are as individuals. We're all infinite, and we're not just an experience. We're all experiencing the experience. This is truth, this is simple truth, but oftentimes we can't release from that experience. We can't become the experience of experience because we're so locked in. We're so, we're locked into that experience. And that's why the key is to come back and understand that we all have the power of choice. We all have the power to acknowledge that in this lifetime, we have chosen to come here. We have chosen to experience what we are experiencing, to ultimately give us the power of choice. And what we do with that choice is up to us. If we want to continue to make choices to create this kind of cycle or circuit of existence, to run away from our truth, to be the victim. If we continue to make choices which keep keep our reality in place, then we will simply continue to manifest the existence of what we are experiencing. But if we choose to make choices to change and to lift our consciousness above this kind of victim mentality, and it's definitely not easy, but we all have the power to do it. We all have the power to come back and realize what we've come here to do and why we've come here, what we've come here to learn, why we're learning. And ultimately, a lot of the time, what we're experiencing now is the foundation of what we needed to experience, to overcome and to elevate above the suffering mentality, the victim mentality. Without experiencing the victim mentality, without experiencing the suffering mentality, we would never be able to understand the difference. We wouldn't have the foundation in our lives to become the person who we need to be. So And that's the power, is to understand that everything is happening for a reason, and we are the choice within this now moment which can lift and raise above the existence which we need to learn from. And that's the magic in life, is that everything is happening for a reason. And when we can come back, acknowledge and learn why everything is happening, we can shift with this frequency and manifest the realization of who we will become, who we are becoming, and ultimately why we are becoming that person.